if I can tell these words of affirmation to a kid who is looking up to me and who wants to do what I have done, I need to go back and get more people out. So I started with the village. You need to have attention, you need to create time, you need to be seeing this person on Sunday or the weekend. In Form 4, all my days were spent at school. I used to go to school even on the weekends. And that kind of sacrifice cannot accommodate a relationship. That's the truth.
Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. Service to others. Because sometimes we think we live on earth free of charge, but I think we need to pay the rent by serving others. Yeah. So I want you in that respect then to tell us, how are you paying your rent for the room you occupy here on earth by service now to the wider community, not necessarily your parents or your family members or your close community? Yeah.
So after I got out. That's how I can describe it, of the environment. I was also mindful of the people I left behind. I was the first graduate from that village. Yeah.
From your school and from the village.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was a big story. But then there was the inspiration or the unlocking that this can be done.
Yes.
Yeah. And there are a lot of young people coming through and saying, if he did it,
I can also
do it.
Yeah.
And that was not enough. When I went to the equity program, I had this need to go back and tell them. Yeah, because I imagined there was a time I was hungry for mentors. I wished somebody could come. When you dream about the university and you imagine or you pray that one day you interact with somebody from the university and they just tell you, either they validate you or they tell you can actually do it, or they tell you, my story is actually like your story. I also struggled. Because sometimes for kids it's very hard to imagine the reality when you're dreaming. The reality, how can I achieve that? So mentorship did that. I think my motivation of becoming a mentor was to play it back.
Pay it forward.
And to be the mentor that I wished to see when I was a kid.
The one I did not have.
Yes. So I was fortunate. I was mentored by others. I read books and they opened for me some imaginary fiction. I don't know if it's reality. I read the Think Big story, Believe It Word by word only to the story, I will not say. But it is back in me something. There is a line that is in that book that says, even if you are yellow-skinned or green-skinned and you know something that other people don't know, instead of running from you because you are yellow-skinned, they will beat a path to your door. And I was like, that's profound. And it is back.
It changed your whole perspective.
Yes. And I said, if I can tell these words of affirmation to a kid who is looking up to me and who wants to do what I have done, I need to go back and get more people out. So I started with the village. I ran programs there with churches. I used to go on Sunday and speak to kids after church. And they would come from now, they know Edwin is coming. They'd come from other churches and fill the place.
In addition to your church, you start with your church, then they all start congregating there.
Yes.
Amazing.
Figured this needs to be scaled. I now started going to high schools. Started with my former school, went there and just told them, anything you believe that it is not possible, just delete that memory. I am here to tell you today.
And we are creating a new perspective.
Yes,
from
I am
today.
here to tell you today I was seated here.
Where you are sitting.
I did my exam there.
Wow.
You know me, I was eating there with you guys last year, and I'm here now. And it is a change in mindset. And we transitioned from, we qualified university, 3 of us in my year. That school started getting 30 plus students to the university.
What?
Yes.
30.
Out of,
From 0.
yes. Out of a student population of, I think, double stream, 40, 40, 80, we were transitioning 30 plus to the
You just say
university.
the impossible is possible with the right mindset.
So, and then, you know, common things. It's not like magic. It's basics. Yeah. Academic excellence is a function, or you have to derive it from discipline. Yeah. You have to sacrifice. Discipline, you have to sacrifice. I did not tell you that I am blank the 2 months before KCSE, because one of the things I was doing, which was crazy in retrospect, was spending the nights at school because there was no paraffin at home, and
So
the
you
school
had
had
to-
electricity.
For you to study
Yes.
in the evening.
Yes. So I used to pretend that I am going with the rest, and then sneak from the stage, the bus stage, and go back to class. And then lock myself in the classroom because there was a guard walking in the night. And if I make any movement, I know an arrow can be on my
they think
back
you are a thief.
anytime. Yeah. And over time, they also learned there is
There's a
something.
pattern here.
Yes, and we became friends when they knew that I was
So they will
studying.
not now disturb you.
So
They
for
knew you were
2
there.
months I was sneaking, and my parents could ask me, but where?
Where were you last
I
night?
say, oh, there is a friend of mine near our school. I spent the night there.
At their
we
place.
were revising. That story came out when I finished. And yes, and kids started that thing and forming groups, and they started a movement called transnighting. Transnighting is reading.
Literally through the night.
Through the
and
night.
the following day you were in class.
Yes. So, funny story. In the morning, what used to happen is that 3 a.m. I would take a shower, take a bucket, get to the shower, take shower. And then when the sun gets out, I'm very cold. I have not eaten anything, supper, breakfast,
yeah.
very cold. I'm waiting for the uji for I think it was served around 10 a.m. So I would come out because I'm too cold to bask in the sun, the morning sun, to just have my hands
At
warm.
least warm up a bit.
Yeah, and that's just before the bell for the morning prep that was going out at 7:15.
Yes.
And then what was very funny is that I would do it maybe from 7, like a 15-minute break, and someone would come. They're now arriving at the school at that time.
Yes.
Go and put their books and come and bask with me.
With you. What?
I'm like, I cannot tell you that.
Now you are coming, you have slept in your bed, you have had your dinner last night, you have had your breakfast this morning. Me, I've had none of those. And you're here with me.
Yeah. And I used to, it was very hard. There was some time, some nights that it would get very cold.
I can imagine. And
I'm hungry,
Nyahururu,
and I'm hungry, and
it's
I cannot
very,
go
very
home.
cold.
Because remember, it's 16 kilometers from home.
school, yeah, it's far.
And I used to ask myself, why am I doing this? 2 questions. Why am I doing this? And I know the answer. And is it worth it? And I know the answer. And I could carry on.
Just continue.
And every night, I was completing a whole exam. Like today, I decide it's mathematics. I'll do mathematics paper 1 and 2 before the night ends. And that obsession, that time, when I told people what it took, the sacrifice it took, and what you have to make to get that, because they were not ordinary circumstances. Yeah, and I had a very short time. I told them, when we talk about sacrifice, I don't want you to think that these are Jabba stories.
Edwin, now I can't stop. I can't help it. You need to tell, because I know there will be some students watching. This is part of the program. Can you tell them the story about if they want to marry a beautiful wife like you did, what they have to do, and what will happen if they do not work very hard? Who will they marry?
Interesting.
I've had you, you know, I go for mentorship with you, so I know those stories you tell them.
Interesting.
Tell them.
One of the challenges that a lot of students go through is teenage relationships. And love is a beautiful thing, I don't deny, and it starts as early as it starts. Even in high school, people have girlfriends, and I remember I also had. And there was a time when I had that resolution, and I looked at the things that were distracting me from getting there. And I knew I have to be absolutely on top of the game, 100%, if not more, focus to get what I wanted. So there were things that I had to sacrifice.
Yes.
Something else was also pool table.
You loved it.
Yeah, I was so good at it. I used to be employed at the pool table during the work holidays. Story for another day. But when it comes to relationships, that is also a sacrifice that it has to be made, because you know what, relationships, they take time away from
distraction.
you. Yeah. You need to have attention, you need to create time, you need to be seeing this person on Sunday or the weekend. In Form 4, all my days were spent at school. I used to go to school even on the weekends. And that kind of sacrifice cannot accommodate a relationship. That's the truth. And you cannot balance. You cannot say, this is like what I'm saying, work-life balance, I do this, I do this. Something has to give. So unfortunately for teenage relationship, they are the ones to give. Because the goal is bigger than that.
That particular.
And if it is meant to be, and this is my advice to the young people, if it is meant to be, it will wait.
It will be, yeah.
It will wait. And interestingly enough, the person they think will be, when they are now falling for them, later on as they transition life, they realize, oh, there are more fish in the sea.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so for me, I sacrificed. I was very upfront with it. I was like, let us focus on our getting to the university. We'll pick up. It is not a stop. It is a pause.
It is really the principle of forgetting about or foregoing instant gratification. That's really what you're telling us. And that applies across, even when it comes to management of finances. It's the same principle. Forget about instant gratification. It will not take you very far, although it may look good today. Now, finally, the Flame Mentors. Tell us about it.